I'm Bill.
And I'm Candace.
And we're the Disruptors.
Yay! I'm so excited about this show today.
Why?
Well, because I think that when you talk about different business structures, often direct sales or MLMs do not come up.
No, they really don't, do they?
No. Matter of fact, they've almost got like a dark cloud that kind of hangs over them when you say, hey, I've got an extra lotion I want to show you, or
something of that caliber.
Yes.
Yeah. People get a little excited when you say MLM. Like,
yes, I have a business
why?
opportunity for you.
Or, yes, I can't tell you, but I'll be over at your house with a bunch of pots and pans to show you how to cook waterlessly.
You two can make millions of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. Overnight. All you have
People
to do,
will love it.
sign up 4 million people, and you'll make a big bonus check at the end of the year. Yes, that's wonderful. Well, let's tear it apart since we've started on this wonderful rat trail of I shouldn't say rat, a trail of misbelief and bad things.
Well, I think there's a definite misconception of MLMs or direct sale marketing companies.
And in the direction of?
Well, okay, let's just talk about structure first.
Okay, let's
before
we'll go right to the foundation of this whole thing. Okay.
Because really all that an MLM or a direct sales marketing opportunity is that they've taken out a lot of heavy lifting. And that heavy lifting looks like they've already done all your marketing.
Right.
Okay. Let's say on an umbrella.
On an umbrella scale. Okay.
Well, you've got your business cards, you've got their printed material. Websites are usually provided, for a fee, of course. They've already done the manufacturing,
labeling.
The labeling. So, of course, they've leveraged a ton of either a celebrity or somebody's endorsing it that, It
has a lot of pull on the social media market, yeah.
So that's right there. That's the platform.
That's it.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
Now we're excited. We've got to the platform. Now we understand everything that they're going to do for us. And we see the big picture because they've told us 500 times what the big picture is going to look like. What happens from there that kind of, after 6 months, kind of spirals them down the drain?
Well, here's the bottom line, Bill. We're just going to cut right to the chase.
The chase.
We can talk about symptoms all day long. And the truth is that it's still a small business. You still have to work the business as though you are just starting something brand new.
Okay.
And that looks like you have to brand yourself. Okay.
So
you're going out to your networking marketing, or you're talking to friends and family. That's usually where they start, where a lot of people start anyway.
Well, that's where they tell you to start. Yes.
They do, because the average person knows 250 people in a sphere, a 360 look.
Okay.
I don't know if I believe that or not. I mean, I know some people that know far more. I know some. So on an average, or far less. So I know on an average.
Well, let's average it out, yes.
We've got 250 people that we know. Okay. And of course, our approaches, I kind of go back into keeping when you and I discuss trench coat entrepreneurship, right?
Right.
Because, we do Uber driving, we sell
fencing or insurance or
Tupperware,
lotions or
life insurance
and all that stuff.
Mary Kay to put,
kind of like a small Walmart you're carrying around in your briefcase.
You are.
Yeah.
And so that people find that you're not clear. And so you're like, they're more apt to go, you can't decide what you want to do.
So therefore you're just wandering around and...
Well, because they don't take it serious. Remember, you're working your regular 40-hour-a-week job, or 60, depending
on what you're doing, right?
And on top of that, right, you still have to go out and do what an entrepreneur is doing, and they're spending. The small business owner is spending a minimum. Okay, we're talking about a minimum. 45 upwards of 60 and even 75 hours a week working their business.
Yeah, that makes a big difference, doesn't it? Really.
If you're really going to work that business, the direct sales, the MLM marketing aspect, then you have to devote a lot of time. It's just like a regular business. It still has to be nurtured, still has to be watered, Seeds have to be planted.
That's right. You can't harvest if you don't plant the seeds.
The meetings go on. I mean, you're working, so you're actually, working really a part-time, full-time job in order to make that successful. MLMs are successful. They do make a lot of money, primarily for the company, obviously, that you've bought into, whatever that brand is, whether it's through health and beauty, which is huge.
It's a big $1 billion market a year, yes.
It absolutely is. And, it gets fascinating because franchise, we look at a franchise. What are the pros and cons? Once again, they've actually got you a platform. It's just a different type of a platform.
Right.
Remember, business is business. Everything is business. And that's kind of how we look at things.
Right.
Us sitting here, breathing, talking, we're conducting business. We're talking about business.
Right.
Rent is still paid on the space. Electricity is being used. Our time is of value.
Equipment, time, gas.
So it's still an investment sitting here talking. So whenever you really take a look at your MLMs and your direct sell marketings, because, some people find it offensive to call things MLMs.
Yes, there seems to be a real negative approach to that right off the get-go.
I think that there's a delusion or a misinformation that you just have to pass out pamphlets, you just have to put your website up. It is the exact same that you have to promote your product just like everybody else.
So when we look at that, let's switch this over.
Okay.
I'll look at the negative side of it and just throw out a couple of ideas to you, what I found in the multi-level industry over these years. First of all, the negative side of it is, to me anyway, is the false illusion that all of a sudden you're going to have, after a few months, this Olympic-sized swimming pool in your bedroom with little rubber duckies floating around, looking at your Bentley out at the curb as the nice man details it for you once a week.
And the heavens parted.
And yes, and there's a big flood. Now, isn't it true, however, there is a very small percentage of people in MLM that actually make the big bucks?
Yes.
So we can start by, I guess, eliminating some of the thoughts. Number one, these gentlemen or ladies that have made it big in the business did what?
Well, they were consistent. They worked it from morning to night. And I do know some people that are highly successul in some direct sell marketing companies.
Right.
And they spent the time and the devotion. And what did they do? They had to market themselves. They had to brand themselves. They had to do all of the wonderful things
that you have to do as an entrepreneur. And the importance of it is, I know, and I'm not going to mention names, but I know one gentleman that actually started in the business and worked his way through the business as an MLM and, worked another job at the same time. But what was interesting, when we finally got down to the nuts and bolts after he had hit a very successful mark, I had an opportunity to sit down with him and ask him, what and how did you do it? And he said, well, first of all, you have to understand that I did so well in promotion of the idea of this MLM that I get paid now to do just basically that. When it came to actually selling the product and making the big residual checks coming in every month, he said it was a living. But to be honest with you, I made more money promoting and helping people brand themselves with this company product than I actually did when it came to selling the product. So then I kind of looked at him and I said, well, isn't that kind of a dark side of the MLM as far as success is concerned? If you're driving, which he was, a nice car and making all these big meetings and doing all this stuff, big Rolex watch, isn't this the dark side that is trying to introduce to everybody that needs to sign up immediately, that there's kind of a, I don't know, maybe a falsehood to it. Maybe it's just a simple situation that you're not seeing all the facts when you actually get into an MLM.
Well, I think that, first of all, like any good sales, let's look at the sales funnel.
Sure, look at the sales.
So whenever you start talking about, people invest money and time in a business because they want freedom. There's a variety of different reasons.
Oh, yeah, freedom's a big point,
but
yes.
Freedom is huge. Money.
Money and freedom.
So those are probably, the two things that you're looking at.
Right.
Life on my terms, an endless bankroll, and I want more time. So I want all my free time paid for. I want to sleep and be making money.
Big car, big house.
Big car, maybe a lot of times you'll hear people that'll say, I want to be able to give back to the community.
Right.
So I'm doing this because I'm going to give back. And who's to say if that's not true or not?
Well, that's true. That's their intention, sure.
You hear that the same thing in business. I want to start my own business because I want to be able to give back. I want to live life on my terms. And that's really, here's the positive side, okay?
Yeah, let's go to the positive now. We've torn it up a little bit here.
Yeah, well, really, we haven't even really scratched the surface. But when you're pitching and you're selling,
right?
Okay, the number one thing is that you're hitting some emotional attachments, right?
Right.
Yeah, you want to spend more time with the kids, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, sure. You want to have a bigger car. You want to send your daughter or son to college paid for.
Yeah, you want to take you want to go on a mission. You want to
big cruise
to your said nonprofit that you're compassionate about,
right?
So you start throwing those out there, and then then you present a vehicle. Okay, but here's the deal: that the vehicle, you never ever actually know how much that product actually costs.
I have no idea.
Service, how much does it actually cost? How much are you actually paying for it? Okay,
right.
That's why they've already provided that platform.
It's all done.
Okay, it's already done, so you don't have to think about it.
No, it's a mathematical wizardry.
You can, if some products or some services companies, you can decrease and kind of run it more like a retail store. Okay. Right. And then there are others that you really can't because you get paid on different numbers or...
Well, that and the policy or the doctrine that the MLL set up says, well, you can do that, but you can't use the name or you can't sell the products at this time. Or the big one, of course, is you can't push on our trademarks. None of that stuff for copyrights. You got to stay away from all that because that's taboo.
Yes.
So they tie your hands right off the get-go.
Yes, and that's another way that they tie your hands. So you don't determine the price.
Right.
Okay. So your hand is tied there.
Correct.
Because they're telling you how much. So they already know how many people that they're going to need to go through and how many people you're going to need to go through. They MLMs and direct sale marketing, first of all, is highly regulated. Okay.
Very regulated.
It costs at least, let's say you decided that you wanted to start an MLM. It costs at least $1 million. That was my last time that I researched, and that was 3 years ago.
It's probably higher by now.
It would actually cost to start, and there's a whole slew of government regulations and paperwork.
Absolutely.
And all that stuff, because it's so similar to a Ponzi scheme, or it can be.
Back in the 70s, it was called pyramiding scheme.
Yes. And so, they want to go ahead and take a look and make sure that it's all legit. And I appreciate the government. Actually, I'm glad that those regulations are there.
Yes.
It makes sense because all business has regulations. I have regulations. You have regulations.
Yeah. Well, everybody has actual guidelines that they want to represent their product or company. They don't want it... I guess the term is messed with or darkened by somebody coming up with another idea that doesn't fit with the policy of the company.
Absolutely. And of some direct sale marketing companies who have run into trouble and had to close their doors or
restructure themselves. Yes.
So you have to understand that, whenever you're engaging, or if this is the structure of business that you're wanting, your hands are tied in a variety of different ways. I've never personally understood why a direct sales company would want to tie your hands in with such a digital media knowledgeable communities. Our lifestyle is tied to the computers now.
Oh, very definitely.
And when you can't do an email, or you can't post this,
or you can't
make a video,
link or a video or something. No, without approval, without sending it in for approval of the company, which at that time will either say yeah or nay, and actually glom onto it. If it actually works, they'll glom onto it.
Well, and that's why we've got people at the gas station or in the grocery mart or grocery center, or you're out doing something in the park and you strike up a conversation, and then all of a sudden that here comes the whammy. I have a business opportunity for you. You look like you could use some